Abusia mama watching na memusa osafo na mo to say yes onyankopon adawroma de nkwane ahode de ache baby bia ehubia de bia ne dia onyame minim se nanso so nyame beye na dom na wama yensa akoya no yenim se mu ade de nanso still ye bo edi da so se ebefa baye yes midi edimensa abrampa abusia da na ekọ wantentan fidie no so enre da ye wo ho na Special Prosecutor Kissi Agyebeng lawyer Kissi Agyebeng ede nsem wa friends and trust for de nsem bi atonanim se obo mayimu a adwuma sisi eden pa ne se obe fight corruption na Special Prosecutor office no ensem a Special Prosecutor di tu dwa no ho ensem a ohwa ansam na oka no ensem a obeka se efiri lipe bi na ahya ase but anse ebe kire ya adwen yendi kan tie Kissi Agyebeng Special Prosecutor ensem bi a odi atudwa yentie mra.
Members of the press, there appears to be a developing trend of rather regressive and dismissive judicial decisions in respect of cases involving the OSP, with troubling consequences. And it seems to us that a careful examination of these outcomes portends a disturbing specter that the fight against corruption is being hampered to the disbenefit of us all. And I do not say these things lightly. 4 instances will suffice. In one case, the OSP applied to the High Court for a confirmation of a freezing order in respect of a deceased person's estate. The judge refused to confirm the order by, in effect, holding that the OSP had come too late since the person of interest had died, and that his death had extinguished the inquiry commenced after the occurrence of death. We publicly commented on this outcome, and the danger of this outcome is obvious, members of the press. It is to the effect that a person may, in his lifetime, acquire property through corruption, and then upon his demise, happily pass on the corruptly acquired property to his estate, and by so doing, extinguish all scrutiny as to the propriety or otherwise of the acquisition of the property, because his corrupt activities were not discovered during his lifetime. In the second instance, the OSP had declared as wanted a person it believed to be a fugitive from justice. The person, through his lawyer, proceeded to the Human Rights Court on an ex parte application, and the judge, without even an inquiry as to why the OSP believed him to be a fugitive from justice, issued an injunction that the OSP should not arrest the person for a period of 10 days. Members of the press, this is dangerous. It encourages criminal suspects to go before the courts to seek injunction orders against law enforcement agencies from apprehending them. The judge did not advert his mind to the well-founded proposition that no one has the right not to be arrested, and he accorded the suspect a right not to be arrested. In the third instance, the OSP applied to the High Court for a confirmation of a seizure order and a freezing order in respect of a person who had just resigned from a ministerial position and had reported that large cash sums in foreign denominations had been stolen from her residence. In addition, the OSP subsequently discovered additional large cash sums in foreign denominations and cedis still stashed in her residence. The judge hastily dismissed the OSP's application and ordered a return of the seized amounts and the defreezing of her property. And he proceeded to lash out at the OSP for not doing a thorough investigation, without the slightest consideration that the seizure and freezing orders are designed by law to facilitate investigation into the affairs of suspects, and not the other way around, of requiring thorough investigations before the OSP can seize or freeze. The judge also completely ignore the fact that in almost every jurisdiction, including Ghana, it is extremely unusual and highly suspicious for a public officer to have such large cash sums stashed in their homes, and that the circumstances of the case dictated pause and reflection and the granting of the OSP adequate time to carry out its investigation. In our estimation, the judge was only interested in the return of the money to the person of interest and nothing more. Then he proceeded to erect non-existent legal barriers to prevent the OSP from investigating the matter. I'll revisit this case. Members of the press, in the fourth instance, the OSP had issued an investigation report in respect of the grant of a customs advance ruling by the Customs Division of Ghana Revenue Authority. The report opined that there was an institutionalized culture of light-hearted unconcern regarding impropriety of action at the Customs Division of Ghana Revenue Authority, which indicated a high propensity to engender corruption and corruption-related activities. Consequently, the special prosecutor directed the opening of a wider investigation in respect of the affairs of the Customs Division. Further, in pursuance of the office's mandate of taking steps to prevent corruption, the special prosecutor directed remedial action by Ghana Revenue Authority. The authority has instituted processes on the basis of the special prosecutor's directive, which has saved the nation substantial revenue. Then comes the problem. The affected customs officials proceeded to the High Court to challenge the work of the OSP. The judge accused the OSP of constituting itself into a court and a commission of inquiry by making findings. In doing so, the judge conveniently shut his eyes to an express statutory provision that the OSP has the mandate to publish detected acts of corruption, and that was exactly what the OSP had done in the report. I wish it had ended there, but worse. The judge then proceeded to prohibit the OSP from further investigating the affected persons. Members of the press, the judge fell into the grievous fault of what he accused the OSP of by outlandishly going beyond his jurisdiction with a purported clothing of the affected persons with immunity from investigation and hence immunity from prosecution. Members of the press, the duty and mandate of the courts is to apply and enforce the laws of the Republic, and not to grant persons immunity from criminal investigations and prosecution. A court cannot injunct the OSP from investigating or prosecuting any person.
This government has carried out a deliberate policy of putting their people.
Hey, MPP ni jina ho kase yo. Ose. Samo okay na ni se. Sesi a ye bedroom pempenso a obi di boni a na sa nipa na we di boni na court se man krofo a oman na ma wontumi se wonya hwehwemu mfa na edwumadi a wedi se ye boni a na ye papa na wa court na court amani tumi se ensese obi ahwehwa ne nsemu ampa na court age atum na odi cases a akokota odi case nadia edimu akutre pa aye ye mami Cecilia abnada pa ose odi nsemi koda court se ni sika ayira esika na odi kotu dwa no se ayira no special prosecutor ene ne dom enso bo anan ekofia ho no mo se sika mu kotu se tadem ho no na chese anu awiram court ashe se court ni hu special prosecutor ni hu kwan se o investigate nipa no ne sika na wenye nti sika na omko home kwanya momfa na ade ama no ne nipa no ono aye bone na sa court akoka kire court say court sika na emia ya me client ne de nti hye famra o sheto he still should be on investigation say maye hwehwe yensemu maye nka yensam no ho hwe si obi akwan so obehwehwe yensemu ampa na court age atum say woni hu kwan say special prosecutor police o CID bia ni hu kwan say o investigating the part ampa na court age atum osa akoye adwuma custom officers bia na wo digwuma beto odwa say si omoje sika na omode ko Jubilee House enti omoye investigation hu say ense bonidie bi ekoso ekokota enipa no enomo finance omo hu nyina ekodu court say oni hu special prosecutor ni hu kwan say ode sa finance ni na ade betudwa tin sam na ode betudwa ne ehu hia court ne mom ye hia ne say wabon sam na to egu ne mom wasan ebu form editia special prosecutor no say oye hwehwemu oni hu kwan say oye sa hwehwemu no owie ina wasan so de atudwa say special prosecutor ni hu kwan ne mom obia nso ni hu kwan say o investigate the case no Kufuado na nse beto odwa wo ho na wotu bi appoint judge na wotu bi appoint judge okay wenwie yentie nsama oguso edi tudwa yentie mra.
Meanwhile, we know that in our law, no one has the right not to be arrested. No one. You cannot say, I'm granting a person a right not to be arrested. So, when we receive judicial decisions like that, it beggars belief to us that we will be prevented in arresting a person who we believe to be a fugitive from justice. What if we were not investigating corruption? What if the person was a suspected murderer, as I said, or a suspected armed robber? The person will be running around in the streets with an injunction on law enforcement agencies not to arrest him. This is not a breach of the law by the OSP. This is dismissiveness of its work. A judge is seeking to prohibit investigations. It's unheard of. You may disagree with us with the outcome of our investigation. That is a debate of the law. We're all lawyers. You got elevated to the bench because you're a lawyer. Law is not an exact science, so 1 + 1 is not necessarily 2 in the law. Depends on what you can establish. But then again, no one has the right in Ghana not to be investigated. And the statutory power to investigate for corruption and corruption-related offenses is that of the OSP. So if a judge seeks to injunct or prohibit an investigation, the judge is arrogating the power of the OSP to himself. You get it? By deciding who should be investigated and who should not be investigated. But it is not the duty of the court to do that. Wait, let us bring before you the body of our investigation as evidence. Now, if you look at it and you decide that the evidence does not show up to the standard of proof required in criminal cases, then you can dismiss it. But don't prevent us from doing our work, from investigating. It is dangerous. As I said, I wasn't sounding as a prophet of doom, but there is doom looming ahead of us. That very soon, a murderer will boldly walk to court to seek an injunction. Should I feel frustrated and resign? I took an oath when I was sworn in. And in my life, when I take on the reins to do something, I do it to the best of my ability. Those who do not understand tree, please forgive me. They say I'm a unkwanoma. But they make cry about for it.
Many see. Ha. Hey, Ghana. Judges is the SCI Kufadra Paubi. Namu dia sembi. Hey! Boy. Esi ade utimi kokot kokasa me peso bia ba chime ma police bia nchime na ko judge di amount ani ko police ni hu kwan so achew ye ni hu kwan sa ma boni amedie ye investigation na court age atum eh Ghana akufu ado Ghana ye investigate utimi kwaje sanya wow Diebro no. Sesi ade obi a waye bone no court timi de ohyeto obi aso se eni hwase agya hwehwemu ono aka se wo de agyagyei maye kwan ye nya hwehwemu ye de hwehwemu no batubia na ususu se nsama ye de ba na nto asumu a ne wagya nipa no nemom enhye ye se ye ni ho kwan se ye hwehwemu e ba Ghana da bai yo sembiriba Asembiribo oniaba ujina bia wo hin Ose Kissi Agyebeng say there is a looming danger. Ose o mind baby a nam sesi ya mra no baby a binom de nam no de e be kakra no me fa semte obi metia na obi abeto ahyem so abobbo me fine me di asam no kokota na ono na obabu me na sa kokota se police ni ho kwan special prosecutor ni ho kwan so ya asam no ho hwehwemu ampa na court age atum se bo awabo me no ye ni ho kwan se ya hwehwemu se di asam ne di awie si ye di awie because hwehwemu na beba beto dwa se ani no crowd ne sakoka no ana wamfa ne sanka no but say yes restrict say mo be investigating ni pana asam say ye bu awie amana say oh lawyer Kufuado human rights lawyer ne pensu na what bia and last week crime so appointed judges ni bi kan yo ye go swetim amanfo busan se Kissi wo be resign na wo hwe de wo se hu me aso wo be kaya matina midu oye investigation at the far osafomafo ensama ekofo bai no resigning sisi a wen so kodum pepe so o say nipa bi ka say ka be ya onsi for because of kwan a ye de fa so no ete ho a nipa bi hu so onya hwe but ya chechire ne nse egu na chi ne ye ba ne yam nipa bi so say a wonya hwe ye biribi mi ho a ya chechire ne nse egu na chi obeda ye biribi Kufuado, worst president ever. Abusia yemia Kissi Agyebeng, special prosecutor, and that needs some about to be said. Currently, nipa di boni and nipa no di boni na sa court. Akwaje nyanhye de ato no so say will be investigating. Apana court so de man. FAC. This year the only minya and your junction shall be a wee got a cocoa a baller case. The way court way. Yamishra on the Momo Macrao.